सो गाइस, अंकुश आर्या दिस साइड। और आज के व्लॉग में मैं आपको रणवीर कपूर की मास्टर क्लास दिखाना चाहता हूँ। मैं आया था गोवा और यहाँ देख सकते हैं आप रणवीर कपूर की फुल मास्टर क्लास एंड डिस्कशन सेशन।
I think Raj Kapoor, the filmmaker, always explored different themes at different times of his life. If you see his earlier films like Avara, which was based on casteism, it tells you a story about how an individual and the surroundings that he's been brought up in, what is that impact on that person and what that person becomes. If you see Sri Char Subis, he spoke about greed, about the underprivileged, and really trying to make something with their lives. And I think the latter part of, the last few films that he made, he really made strong films with, really strong Indian moral values, spoke about the society in such an honest and frank way, still making it really commercial and really entertaining. He made movies, woman-centric films, where he spoke about the oppression of a woman in a patriarchal society and against a misogynistic individual. If you see Prem Rog, he spoke about widow remarriage. If you see talk about Ram Teri Ganga Meli, he actually compared the protagonist Ganga to the river Ganga, how it starts so pure and by the time it reaches down because of society and human habits, it really impures the person. So I think another big example I think of Mr. Raj Kapoor is after he made Mera Naam Joker, which was a colossal disaster. He lost so much of money, his house was mortgaged, and I hear so many stories from my family what was happening at that time. He had the courage to make a film with newcomers. A 50-year-old man making a film for the youth. That means that he really kept with the times. He was not stuck in a cocoon. He was not somebody who was high up in his ivory tower. He was constantly in touch with the common man. He was constantly in touch with the mass. He was constantly in touch with what kind of stories, people would like to see. And really to make a film like Bobby at that time, at the age of 50, which spoke to teenagers, is something which is truly amazing.
Full-time ocean conservationist.
Wow.
And the reason I got here to this point is because I understood the ocean crisis as an existential threat to humanity. I really love the work that your grandfather did, your father did, and of course you. And my daughter's a big fan as well. One of the biggest issues that Gen Z is facing is this anxiety about climate change, anxiety about not being able to do anything about the environment. So when I look back at your grandfather's legacy, I feel like he really tackled issues that were front burner, difficult for people to understand unless they were done at a Bollywood stage, at a movie. And I'm asking you, are you touched by the ocean crisis? Are you touched by climate change? Are you touched with the disaster that we're making of our environment and of this beautiful planet that is our home, enough to be able to make an impact through your films?
Ma'am,
That's the question.
I'll be honest with you, I am even more worried and touched now since I am a father and I have to think of, my child's life and what it's going to be for her after so many years. So yes, as cinema people, as artists, it's our moral responsibility, to make movies that entertain people. Of course, that's one set of movies, but also, I think knowledge is such a large thing that, we need to put out there. What can be done? What's going wrong? So many people don't even know what's right or what's wrong. You go on social media and you watch a reel or you read a headline and it can be very misleading. So I think knowledge is something that the awareness is very important, and if I can create any awareness for anything, not just ocean related, for anything that will protect the planet, I think it's all our moral responsibility to do that.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I have created a beautiful virtual reality experience on the oceans,
Okay.
right here in a white tent.
Okay.
It's India's first ever.
Okay.
I funded it and I brought it to India.
Well, that's it.
I
mean,
would
you're
love
starting
for
the
you
movement.
to come.
I'll definitely
and
stop by.
You have to come and stop by, and I invite everybody. It's free. It's a huge investment. Please come.
Thank you. Thank you so much. हाँ जी, मैं आपकी आवाज़ सुन सकता हूँ सर।
Raj Kapoor sir's movies. Like they're all very very famous in Russia. What I'm asking is, at the time there are no subtitles. Yeah, but the songs are very good and he was a hit. What was the reason he became a hit in Russia? Subtitles were not there. What attracted Russians to like them? Of course, the songs were extraordinary. All the songs were hit songs. I'm listening to the song from the age of 5, Dum Dum Digga Digga and all. So how it became success in Russia?
I think, sir, there are various reasons. Of course, music is something which always touches anybody. You don't need to know the language, you know, as long as the melody, the singing. Music is such an art form that really, you know, touches your soul. But I think also the characters and the stories he made films on, it's something which was universally appealing. Not just the Soviet Union, you know, if it's Eastern Europe, if it was the Middle East, if it was Southeast Asia. I remember when मैम ऐसे तो बहुत सारे उदाहरण हैं, बट मुझे एक पल याद है कि चिंबूर में जब पार्टीज़ होती थी तो हम जब बच्चे थे हम भी वहाँ जाते थे और बहुत सारे लोग होते थे फिल्म इंडस्ट्री के, सब वहाँ मौजूद होते थे और जहाँ वो रहते थे एक बड़ा सा गार्डन हुआ करता था और क्योंकि हम बच्चे थे तो हम नंगे पैर वहाँ खेला करते थे. तो once I was bitten by a lot of red ants. And this was like in the middle of the night, and Mr. Raj Kapoor was in the middle of the party and having a great time. But having seen कि I was in some form of pain and trouble, उन्होंने खुद मुझे उठाया, उनके बाथरूम लेकर गए, मेरे पैर धोने लगे. So that's one moment I really remember. आपका दूसरा क्वेश्चन क्या था?
राज कपूर साहब से एक्टिंग की कौन सी बारीकी आपने सीखी?
I think you know मैं यहाँ honestly बताना चाहूँगा कि I was a bigger fan of Raj Kapoor as a director than an actor. You know, I've been a very big fan of my father's work as an actor. But I think उनकी आँखों में अगर उनका, of course वो एक स्टाइलाइज्ड एक्टर थे, एक तरीका था उनका जैसे जब वो एक रोल को अप्रोच करते थे. बट आई थिंक जो असलियत उनकी आँखों में दिखती थी, जो ऑनेस्टी उनकी आँखों में दिखती थी, वो बहुत मुश्किल से आती है. बिकॉज आई एम अ वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल माई सेल्फ, मुझे ये एहसास होता है कि उनकी आँखें कभी you know, आप कभी झूठ नहीं देख सकते थे उनकी आंखों में. So I think that was something.
Ranbir, I have a question to ask you. अगर साहब अभी होते, तो which is your performance you would appreciate the most? Come on, this is enough for you to think.
I think out of the 20 odd films I've done, Rahul Uncle, one film where I was very very inspired by him was a film called Barfi. I don't know if it would be his kind of cinema. Actually, he was a man of every kind of cinema, but I would definitely like to show him that film and have a discussion on that.
And your father?
Which film of his?
Which film of yours would you think is? I know he was very, very. He was on seventh heaven when he saw Barfi.
Yes. No, actually he didn't. I remember when he saw Barfi, he called me after the trial. This was the day before release. And he was like, हाँ रणवीर तू एक्टिंग तो अच्छी कर लेता है, बट अभी आर्ट फिल्म्स करना बंद कर दे.
ये तो पता है.
I remember जब रॉकस्टार रिलीज हुई थी, again he called me a day before release and he said, वो एंड में लड़की वापस आ जाती है कि मर जाती है? So he was always, you know, he always was fond of complete films.
I know at one film of yours, it was a premiere and I met him तो फिर जब फिल्म खत्म हुई, जब बाहर निकले तो सब खड़े थे, डायरेक्टर भी था, सब लोग खड़े थे, तो गले मिला मेरे के. तो मैंने कहा बहुत अच्छा काम किया है रणवीर ने. ही सेड छोड़ यार, ये कोई फिल्म है क्या, ये फिल्म कल तक उतर जाएगी.
I think this was Savaria. My first film.
Your first film. He is very, very, very.
No, like you know, that's the thing about creative artists. He was so perceptive. मुझे याद है कि जब मैंने सावरिया की शूटिंग कर रहा था, ये मेरी पहली पिक्चर थी. मिस्टर संजय लीला बंसाली डायरेक्टर थे और हम करजत में शूट कर रहे थे. तो पापा हैड कम वन डे टू सी द शूटिंग. और जब वो सेट पे आए तो ऐसा सब जगह ऐसे देखने लगे और उन्होंने कहा कि ये जो बड़ा बुद्धा का हेड है यहाँ क्यों पड़ा है, इतने सारे विंडोज है, लोग कहाँ हैं, सिर्फ तू और सोनम क्यों सड़कों पे ऐसे चलते जा रहे हैं, रात क्यों है, दिन कब होगा. सो ही आस्क्ड मी these certain questions and I didn't really have answers. You know, I was like, you're old school now, you know, this is, really cool filmmaking and all of that. But I remember he sat in the car and he told my mom कि ये picture कभी चलने नहीं वाली. You know, you cannot alienate your audience with place and time. You know, there has to be some relatability, and so just be open to life. You know, receive as much as you can, and only if you receive, only if your channel is open, you'll be able to give back to your work. So just be open.
Thank you, Ranbir. Ranbir, thank you so much.
Thank you, Rahul. Thank you so much, everyone.